WWE did a Chronicle on Sasha Banks. I thought they were going to do a 24 or a 365, but this is a long documentary. It's about 40 minutes long, so we're going to see a lot of what's going on with her, what happened after WrestleMania, and before her return, that time period. I think she's going to open up a lot about it. And I do know she was extremely upset about that fake news report by Ryan Satin that said she was crying on the floor after WrestleMania and she was throwing a temper tantrum like a child. It was completely fake. So I think she's going to really go after that reporter for that, because that was some bullshit by Ryan Satin. So we start off with Sasha doing an emotional interview. She said wrestling broke her and she needed time off, and she came back and she's already, very emotional. I've heard she gets super emotional. She's already an emotional person. You always see Sasha Banks cry, but I hear this is going to be a really raw and deep episode for a WWE superstar, and she's going to really open up here. So this takes place from August 12th, 2019 to September 9th, 2019. So she's going to open up about why she left WWE after WrestleMania 35, and there's a quote that appears: "Although the butterfly and the caterpillar are completely different, they are one and the same." She talks about how wrestling saved her life. I remember hearing her interview with Lillian Garcia. She really opens up there. She talks about what she went through as a child. I know her brother was autistic, and she had came from a single parent, and I think her father left. And just to let you know, if you ever wondered what her race is, I think her dad is African and her mother is European, and she has a really bad relationship with her father. I remember hearing that. I remember hearing that her brother was very, he was autistic and he was abusive to her. So she had a rough life growing up. She talks about how wrestling really made her happy. So she talks about what led to her leaving. She says a lot of bad things happened and she was really down. And the thing that really sparked it was the whole Paige situation, in which she accidentally hurt Paige, and of course Paige would have to retire. So next we go to her arriving at the arena in which she would return the night after SummerSlam in Buffalo, New York. And she is in the car, talking about her return, and eventually Bayley comes and she calls Bayley by her real name, Pam. And Sasha's real name is Mercedes. And, it's her big return to Monday Night Raw. So she goes back to WrestleMania. She talks about how she had no feeling going into that match and no passion. Well, I don't blame her. The match was meaningless. You shouldn't have any feeling because it was a meaningless match. So she's talked about how she loses her passion, how she's unhappy, and how her husband encouraged her to leave, and how Bayley, calls her Pam in this documentary, basically said you should probably go. And that's where it really hit Sasha, because when Bayley says, all right, you should go, she would always assume Bayley would talk her out of it. And that's when she really knew something was wrong, because no one knows her better than Bayley. And that really hit her, and that's when she really realized she needs to go. And that's when, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was a whole bunch of things, but I don't know if it was a match that pissed her off. And there was reports that she freaked out at WrestleMania 35 backstage, if she had a huge, problem with someone and she quit in front of Vince McMahon. And she said, I don't know, I think it was, she doesn't really talk about that yet. I don't know if she is, but it seems like it was just a buildup of a whole bunch of things. So she's about to make her return. She gets into gorilla position before she makes her entrance. She hugs Vince McMahon. She hugs Triple H. And now the boss is back. So she talks about her time away. She needed therapy. She got that. And she got in a better place. And she became she became happier, in general. She really found herself. She went to therapy, and she was able to get herself in a position where she would be able to come back, and that's what happened. So she goes in her house and she shows us some of her pictures that she has mounted on her wall. The 4 Horsewomen part in NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, when she had the match with Bayley, and of course after the match, Becky and Charlotte come in the ring and the 4 Horsewomen do the curtain call. That was definitely a great moment. She has the poster from the main event she had with Charlotte for the title. She has the title the first women's title she won from Charlotte. She has a photo of her, Charlotte, and Alexa when they did Triple H's big entrance at WrestleMania 30. Yeah, I'm surprised she, her and Alexa don't like each other. I'm surprised she even has a photo of her there. But she's obviously someone who really loves wrestling, and it means the world to her, and you can really tell. So she's talking about, she's in the Performance Center now, and she's talking about memories of Dusty Rhodes and the promo classes they would have, and she really talks about how Dusty is the only one who really believed in her boss character, and how when she was doing that character, most of the people kind of scoffed at it. They really didn't get it, but he was really supportive of her. So she's talking in the ring now. She seems like now she's in a much better place. She's talking about how much she enjoys wrestling. They showed clips from her at Raw backstage. First was in St. Paul, Minnesota, then in New Orleans. It was raining pretty hard. And she's definitely in a much better place than she was during WrestleMania time, for sure. Just seeing Sasha Banks, working out before her Raw matches, seeing her photo shoot, she looks in amazing shape. And she's obviously a beautiful woman. She's very attractive, but she is in incredible shape right now. And they show her match with Natalya next from Raw a few weeks ago, actually. And this is important, too, because this is more than just a return. This is her first actual match back since she left WWE the night after WrestleMania. And, she's, I would like to see a little bit more. Maybe I'll get into that later in the documentary about how she felt about the way she was being booked. There were so much reports that she was furious that she had to lose the tag title so early, and she was mad that she was always losing the belts. Maybe that's why she wasn't passionate about it in her match at WrestleMania. And even though the match was just a throwaway match, it was not a top WrestleMania match. Someone was looking at that match as one of the big matches that year that people wanted to see. It was just a match that was there. It was a card filler. I mean, the big focus was on the woman, Becky, Charlotte, and Ronda. But I wonder how much of her being put on the shelf and being put, in a meaningless match. And the year before, I think she was only in a Battle Royal, and I'm sure that does bother her of the way she's being booked. She starts off, the first WrestleMania, she's in a big match with Charlotte and Becky in Triple Threat. Second, when she's in a Fatal 4-Way match, wasn't as big. And then there's the Battle Royal, and then there's the Women's Tag, and I think it does kind of bother her, probably, Charlotte and Becky, her first WrestleMania, now they're in the main event. And while she's in a meaningless match, maybe that did bother her. I don't know. Especially because at that time, she was the biggest star of the three when they brought the three of them up together. She was the biggest star by far. And it clearly, over the years, she really fell while they rose. Maybe that did bother her. She's talking now about her match with Natalya, her first match back. It was a forgettable match, to be honest. Now she's finally getting to addressing the fake news report by the crappy wrestling reporter Ryan Satin. I hate that guy. I can't stand Ryan Satin. He sucks. He bothers me. He's a little shit-faced. I mean, he's so fake. He's just fake. He claims to be the social justice warrior on Twitter, and he just knows this guy's full of shit. And she's, really mad, and she deserves to be. It's bullshit. You embarrassed the hell out of this girl. You're saying, she's a 27-year-old woman. She's on the floor crying like a child. You better be able to confirm that, because that is absolutely humiliating to her and her character. So Ryan Satin's an asshole for reporting that. And I find it interesting, too, who leaked it. There was someone there she probably has beef with, leaked it to Ryan Satin to embarrass her. That could have happened to her. Maybe it was just, people got the wrong information. Someone took something out of context and started off. It's kind of like the telephone game, and it just turned into something that it wasn't. Maybe that happened, but she was clearly, bothered by it. Now we get to Madison Square Garden. She's really excited to have this match to work with Bayley to go against Charlotte and Becky. They really edited this up quickly because this was from last week. So, they must have, put everything together quickly. They have a great production team because you're able to, just get everything good in just, 1 week later. So after the match, she talks about how much she enjoys it. She says she's doing it for herself. It makes her happy. She seems to have regained her love for wrestling. She got the magic back, if you will. That's what she said. She tweeted that after WrestleMania. You have to lose them. You're chasing the magic. You're trying to get it back. She definitely has it back. She's happy again, and that's nice. She does seem a little bit angry with the fans. The fans. It's not the fans. It's just a few vocal minority fans on Twitter who immediately freak out after every little thing about wrestling. Those are not the majority of fans. Those are just a small minority, a vocal minority. They go crazy after everything. After every little controversy that happens in the WWE, they freak out. They want to crucify the wrestlers. If someone says a stupid tweet, sends a stupid bad tweet, they freak out. They want your job gone. It's cancel culture. It's just terrible. I hate those guys. And what's happened to Sasha is after the Paige injury, a bunch of fans, probably Paige fans too, freaked out. They wanted her fired. They went after her like crazy. And then it kept getting worse. There was so much, controversy she had stuff with happen. For a while, I mean, she would do interviews saying that she was unhappy with the fans and she wouldn't want to, take a picture with them at the airport, and she got a lot of heat for that. Some of the wrestlers went after her too for that. She was, attacked for the fans by that. I don't blame her because I've seen how fucking crazy some of these fans are. Look at Sasha Banks' Facebook page. She has a right to be a little bit worried about some of the fans. I mean, some of these guys are fucking creepy as fuck. I'll be honest. I don't know if they're really, they're probably harmless, but they are a little bit creepy. So I don't blame her for being a little bit worried to take a picture with every fan she sees in an airport. She sometimes doesn't. That was another thing. There was, there's this whole thing of her and Alexa having heat. That's been a story for a while. There's stories of her having heat with other women wrestlers, with male wrestlers. There's stories of her just being hard to work with. And there's, people who look at Sasha Banks as kind of being spoiled. That does go on. There's a lot of fans who feel that way. So when they have the perception of her, they really beat her up a lot after WrestleMania. There's fans who are saying, you took your ball at home, you're a quitter, she gave up. So, and of course, the whole, lying on the floor thing really got to her. And the fans attacked her mercilessly for that. Not the whole fans, but the people on Twitter. And that's not the whole fans. The majority of fans don't have Twitter. I think only like 22% of the United States actually has Twitter. So, she probably shouldn't pay too much attention to it, but it clearly had a very negative effect on her. So she says at the end, she's at peace now, she's in a better place, and that's great. So overall, it was a very good documentary. It's definitely good to see Sasha Banks is at peace again. She's in a better place, which is great. I really enjoyed it, so I'd recommend everyone watch it. You'll really learn a lot more about her and who she is, how much she loves wrestling and how much it means to her. And it is happy. It's a happy ending. You see the way she was depressed. It does make you worry a bit. I hate to even say that. Was she gonna take her own life or something? That is a fear people have when you are so down. But it's actually a great ending. She's at peace with herself. She loves wrestling again, and she's back at her job. And hopefully, she has a great career. I'd love to see her become champion again. I'd like to see her have a big WrestleMania match, maybe win a match at WrestleMania for once. So she still in 27, has her whole career ahead of her, and we will see what's next for Sasha Banks.